to make it today. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet because I know that everybody's really busy and it's the beginning of Unified Track. So again, I'm really excited. I believe this is our 11th year for Unified Track, which is kind of incredible. It's great to see that it continues and that there are so many student athletes that are participating. Sorry, I just got an error on my screen. I'm gonna there we go. Okay, so let's just get started. So our agenda today is that we're gonna talk about our season timeline, our state tournament qualifications, Google folder, coaches contact, recruitment posters, official rules, uniforms, and forms. I wanna just introduce Kara. She is new this track season and is gonna be supporting us from Special Olympics of Maryland. So thank you so much, Kara. I know you're also on the call if you wanted to share any information, but here is her contact information.
Hi, everybody.
All right, guys, let's talk about our season timeline. And I'm gonna just talk Friday, March 1st. Obviously, spring sports began. All paperwork is due to me by Friday, March 15th, which is published on our schedule also. When I talk about paperwork, I'm talking about those Special Olympics of Maryland forms and your affirmation of eligibility. So you want to make sure that you get that to me. We have districts this year on April 24th at 3 p.m. at good old Governor Thomas Johnson High School. Then we're going to head on to states on the 14th or the 15th, depending on your roster size. And there is an inclement weather date. I believe some ADs had the date as May 1st, and that could have just been an error from the preliminary schedule. But just FYI, if you have a team that is greater than 20, you're going to go on the 15th. Less than 20, you'll go on the 14th. So let's talk a little bit about training requirements. You know, I know that I don't know that we address this every year, but it's just important to note that you should be having 2 practices a week and that we should have 3 or more meets throughout the season. I know last year was kind of, you know, an interesting unified track season. It maybe would have been better if we were swimming since there was so much rain and the majority of our meets got canceled. But our goal is to reschedule meets when possible. I understand that sometimes it makes it difficult because we have such a compact timeline, but our goal is always to reschedule meets. Resources are all going to be housed for everybody right in this Unified Track and Field folder. After our webinar, I'm going to send out the PowerPoint presentation so that you can access this, but within this you'll have the, let's see if it'll let me. You guys are seeing SATs today, so I'm a little, so it has that option right there that you can just click on that link and then you should be able to go right to the drive, and I'm going to click on it if my computer will let me. But apparently it will not. But if you want to go to that and then just check out all the resources in there, including the comprehensive guide to Unified Track. There is no paper version this year. If you, as a school, would like recruitment posters, we need to fill out a Survey Monkey, and I'll send this out to everybody. But if you guys could click on the link so you can get recruitment posters if you think that would support your efforts to gather more student athletes. All right, spring officials, rules, and coaches resources. Kara did a meticulous review of this, and it is right here with this YouTube link, which I will also share out with you all after this webinar. But please feel free to listen to this webinar. I think that it would be really a great resource for those people that have not ever coached Unified Track before, and also a nice refresher for those that have in years past. All right, uniforms. I know that as team sizes change, So do your uniform needs. Please seek out your ADs to see if there is any funds in your school budget to purchase new shirts, new shorts, etc., whatever you guys are going to need. If for whatever reason you are unable to secure those funds, please reach out to myself, and if I cannot secure them through FCPS funds, then I will reach out to Special Olympics of Maryland. All right, I know a lot of people talk about needing new shot puts, new mini javels, and I know that says Mimi javels. I'll have to fix that. But please let me know if you do need them. We can kind of work together to get a good price on those. But the range right now is $40 to $50, or $25 to $50 for the shot put. And that. All right, let's talk about uniforms. I just mentioned if you needed a uniforms to make sure to reach out to your AD and then me. But if you are ordering, please be mindful that you have the Special Olympics logo in the location that needs to be in your team name. And make sure that if you're buying additional ones that they're going to match the ones you previously have. Again, I already talked about the track and field folder, but here it is again if you need that. All right, forms. I think everybody's least favorite part of unified track. Right here is the unified, the affirmation of eligibility. Please, 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 please fill this out. It's great if you can type into the document. If you cannot, please handwrite it in great handwriting and get that to me prior to March 15th. Something to notice, if you'll notice that state invitational credentialing, you need to put the people that are traveling with you all. That could be SEIAs that are there to support a student athlete. That could be assistant coaches. You need to make sure that everybody is on there so that when you go to states that everybody has the appropriate badging so that they can be on the track. All right, forms, the good old Special Olympics form. So new kind of this year that one form needs to be collected for each school year. So you want to make sure that if you have some kids that haven't played any other unified sports, or if you're unsure and don't have a list, please have everybody submit a new form, just so that way we can have it on the 14th and that we can make sure that everybody is able to participate in states and counties. Without the appropriate paperwork, student athletes will not be able to compete unless there's an extenuating circumstance, and those would have to be run through me. So please reach out to me if you're having any issues. Forms and registration for non-student athletes, adults and minors. There's some Class A clearances required. You want to make sure that any Class A documents are to be submitted via scanning and emailing to Dottie Rush. You do not have to send those to me, just send them right to her so that she has them. All right, and then just as a reminder that to participate, you've got to pass the background check, which is the Class A volunteer application. You've got to do the protective behaviors training. And then if we have student athletes that are being coaches, you want to make sure that they have the student minor reference form. And this is just what the protective behaviors looks like, and you just press print so that we have some documentation of that. All right, let's talk about maximum effort. I know that we have spoken about this before, and how it is important that when student athletes are competing in each and every unified track meet that they are giving their best effort. We talked in 2016 about kind of changing the rule and having automatic disqualification at a 20% variance. So if when your team for the relay came in for one race and had one time, and then the next one was significantly different, there was a problem there. Maximum effort, as you see here, this is just reference to Article 1 of the rule book. I'm not going to read it. I'll just give you guys a second too. All right. Roster proportionality. I think that this is a conversation we have every year. You need to make sure that you have a 70-30 split. So either 70% of your roster has students with disabilities and 30% doesn't, or vice versa. If that isn't your makeup, you need to reach out to me, and we need to kind of talk about ways to support your school. And we can also have the option to petition a panel to see that you're allowed to keep that distribution. You're only allowed to do that once. So if that is the case, we really want to look at it and see how we can support you guys best. We also have to be mindful that we have to have 12 student athletes minimum per team. If you have a really small roster, which we've had in the past, and then we've combined teams, and we can absolutely do that again, but we do have to have 12 to compete. And then I just kind of talked about this already, about the 70-30 rule. And then after we getting that SOMD affirmation of eligibility, I will reach out to any teams smaller than 12 or that don't have the ratio. All right, so we need to talk a little bit about accommodations. That there are some student athletes that need finishers tape for low-level track heats. Sometimes we may need to accommodate students based on their disability. If you have a student that is struggling to compete for whatever reason, please reach out to me and we can brainstorm accommodations that we can make that can continue to make Unified Track meaningful for all involved. And we've talked a little bit about dual participation. Track and tennis are really the two places where a student athlete has the opportunity to participate in a varsity sport. FCPS has interpreted this as if a student was in varsity track last school year, they may not participate in Unified Track this year, but may do so next school year. And so we really want to be mindful that student athletes are taking some time off. I know last year, I believe Frederick High School had a young lady that was participating, stopped running track because of an injury, and then wanted to do Unified a year later when her injury healed. And that was great, and she was able to participate. But please reach out to me if you have any of those kind of cases. But that is kind of FCPS's interpretation of the dual participation. All right, regular season meets. Let's talk a little bit about heat sheets and organizations of those meets. Rachel, Teddy, and I last year kind of used the Special Olympics computer system GMS to create heats for the meets. I think for the first one we actually used Excel and did it that way just because of the timing and computer glitches. But our goal is to create heat sheets for each of the meets that are in Frederick County. That means, though, that 36 hours post-meet, we have the heat sheets from your meet with the times on them. Without having times from the previous week, we are not able to update things appropriately, and we won't be prepared for the meets in the coming week. So please be mindful of people's time and make sure that you get that information to both myself and Rachel. And I say both of us, if you can send it to both of us, just in case somebody is out or somebody can't do anything. Rachel will continue to be doing a lot of the technical work for Unified Track. Scott Rippian does a phenomenal job for our county championship or district tournament. Please be mindful of his deadlines. He really takes a lot of times. He does not use GMS. He uses a different system that works for him, but it is labor intensive, and there's a lot of schools that are coming to the county meet. There's 10 schools, so we just want to make sure that we are getting information to him as quickly as possible. So I just appreciate everything Scott does, and I would love it if we could get our times into him sooner rather than later. And that is it. Kara, if you can unmute anybody for any questions that they may have. I know I went through everything kind of quickly, but.
Okay, they are good if they can unmute themselves if they have a question.
Hey, Michelle, it's Greta.
Hey, Greta.
Do you have a vendor for uniforms that you guys use?
So we don't. We've used, at Urbana, we just use our regular athletic vendor. If you would like his information, I can send it to you.
No, it's okay. I used one. I just didn't know if there was one that
we could use?
No, just to be mindful that you have the appropriate logos on it.
Yeah, no, we have that, but we need more.